What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday, February 4th. Welcome into this week's episode of The Walkthrough. I'm your host, Joe Macheca. What did A'ja Wilson have to say about her jersey retirement and her jersey being retired into the Colonial Life Arena rafters permanently? How did the Gamecocks get the job done against Auburn to celebrate A'ja Wilson's jersey retirement? All of that after the intro. Welcome into The Walkthrough. Again, breaking down Gamecock women's basketball's big win over Auburn, and then also A'ja Wilson's jersey retirement. Full coverage from that on Sunday, and then also a slight preview of Georgia coming to you live right after this commercial break. Stay locked in. This is The Walkthrough.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for this week's episode of The Walkthrough, presented by the Chief Sports Network. And now, here's your host, Joe Macheca.
Oh, yes, indeed. It is that time of the week. It is this week's episode of The Walkthrough. I'm your host, Joe Macheca. South Carolina getting the job done against Auburn, at Colonial Life Arena in front of 13,000 strong for A'ja Wilson's jersey retirement. Again, Gamecocks get things done against the Auburn Tigers. Auburn not that great in the SEC, but again, Gamecocks able to get it done 83-66. The final, Joyce Edwards leading the team in scoring with 18 points yet again. Big win on the day where you honor the program's greatest athlete and greatest player, one of the most decorated athletes in school history, with A'ja Wilson getting her jersey retired. I'm going to show that clip of A'ja Wilson getting her number raised into the rafters, and then I have plenty of everything Dawn Staley had to say, and then also Chloe Kitts and Joyce Edwards talk quite a bit about A'ja Wilson postgame. So I'll have all of that. But first, I did want to talk about A'ja's jersey being raised up into the rafters. Here's the video of the jersey being unveiled. Again, Wilson gave a pregame speech, where she was able to thank fans. The quote said, "Thank you all so much for being here today. I am overwhelmed with gratitude and joy to have my jersey retired at the University of South Carolina. The place where my dreams began is an honor I can hardly put into words," Wilson said in her speech prior to the jersey being raised. Huge day for South Carolina women's basketball and just women's basketball in general, right? A'ja Wilson, again, is the most decorated athlete in South Carolina history. So to be able to honor Wilson like that, again, retiring her jersey is super special. Wilson went on to say to the incredible fans, "You built this arena with energy and passion, making every game an unforgettable experience. It's a privilege to be a Gamecock, to be a part of this community, and one of the greatest honors of my life was representing Garnet and Black every night. Columbia, South Carolina is my home. It shaped me, and not just as an athlete, but a person." Again, A'ja Wilson's jersey being retired into the rafters at Colonial Life Arena Sunday. Dawn Staley had plenty to say about it when talking about her impact, but here's Dawn first off of just being a part of A'ja's jersey retirement ceremony.
Unveiling of her statue, draft night. Compare your emotions today to those other moments when you see the jersey unfurled from the rafters and just the reaction of the crowd during the whole ceremony.
I think it was probably a more build up to this moment because she got a chance to share it with all the people who have cheered for her, who have impacted her, who she's impacted in a place in which she made an electrical place to play. So this one was probably little, and then the way it was lit up was kind of really cool. Like I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, where is it? I was trying to find it before it was unveiled. Like, where is it? And then I don't know if that's going to be the permanent spot, but our marketing people did a great job just with unveiling it and giving Asia her moment. Like, I'm happy that we're able to give her her flowers at such a young age to where she'll be able to smell them for a very, very long time. And it was cool. It was just a really cool moment to be a part of.
Yeah, being able to give Asia Wilson her flowers and be for or so that she can smell them for a very, very long time is what stuck out for me from Dawn Staley there, right? Hat tip to the marketing department, and also everyone involved with it, the people lowering the jersey, the banner, my guys on spotlights that I was talking to. That were able to showcase their ability with the spotlights and everything at CLA. Just hats off to everyone who was involved with Asia's jersey retirement. Again, just a well-oiled machine that is South Carolina athletics, and beautiful job on everyone's part, right? I mean, even Nike coming into Columbia yesterday at the fairgrounds and dropping the A1s, which go get yourself a pair. I'm gonna vouch for those. Even I a Nike guy here, and I personally think South Carolina should move to Nike, but don't ask the reporters. But yeah, so Asia Wilson again getting her flowers. Again, she went on to say in her speech, as I look up to the rafters and see my jersey, I'm reminded how important it is to chase your dreams without fear. And the person who taught me this, or taught me that, and is still teaching me this, is Dawn Staley. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach, for seeing the light in me when I couldn't even see it in myself, for showing me that it's not about the destination, but the journey and the people you meet along the way. Again, Dawn Staley, making one heck of an impact on Asia Wilson. Again, the most decorated athlete in school history. Here's what Dawn had to say on Asia's impact
importance of
be
her.
around her.
We know the importance of what she's been able to do, but if a person didn't stay home and be a beacon for South Carolina, maybe Ashland doesn't come here, maybe Malaysia doesn't come here, maybe Joyce doesn't come here. I mean, she had to have that kind of influence on this state and basketball.
Yeah, I mean, what she means to our program is legendary, and is, you think of legendary as just what they do on the court. I think the magic of Asia is all the other stuff. Like, it's okay to come to a local college, university, and take on the pressures, because it's a pressure thing, and because you're doing it in front of all the people that know you, and you only want to do well in front of them, and you don't want them to see you grow, like growing pains in front of you, but it's just part of it. Asia opened the door for that, for them to feel all the feelings that they have, good or bad, and all the pressures that they have, good or bad. And because of Asia, we continue to get the top talent. And I mean, our fams, they create an experience that if you don't come here, you're going to feel like you're missing out, even if you're somewhere else. And you watch us on TV, you watch, what they say about us. If you're on social media, I mean, it's really a cool thing that I know that it won't last forever, but we're enjoying the time that the light is shown on the University of South Carolina women's basketball team.
Yeah, that's huge, right? When you have the antithesis of the women's basketball world on you, like it was on Sunday. And not to say that, I mean, the women's basketball world isn't watching every move of this number 2 ranked South Carolina Gamecocks team, but when one of the greatest players in program history, and arguably one of the greatest players in women's basketball history, Asia Wilson, comes back to get her number retired, a lot of people are going to watch. I mean, you saw who was in the building, and I'll get to Dawn's quote on that. She mentioned Bam Adebayo was in the building, just to kind of, obviously, to check out what the team was had going on against Auburn. But Wanda Sykes also there to check out the festivities with Asia Wilson, and also just to be part of the fams, right? To have Wanda Sykes, and then again Bam Adebayo there, a lot of fun. And I'll get to Dawn's quote about that. And just the fams and the atmosphere and it being an electric place to play. But again, South Carolina gets the job done against Auburn, as you would expect, right? They finish game finishes 83-66. They don't jump out to a super big lead, right? They get the job done. And, Auburn went on a 6-0 run to end the game. So this score was a little, dragged out, if you will. But Chloe Kitts and Joyce Edwards are the two, players of the game. And I've got a quote from them as well. But, on a day where Asia Wilson, one of the greatest post player in your program's history, is having her jersey retired, to have your post players, especially the ones of the future, and again, we talk about it on this show a lot, Chloe Kitts could still technically be a sophomore, right? She enrolled early. She's playing as a junior right now, which is crazy again. But certainly playing up to it, Joyce finished with, again, 18. And I can pull up the box score here. But yeah, Joyce finishing with 18, really, really good stuff out of the freshman. And, it again goes to show you how much maturity, Joyce has had in these last couple games. So, again, Chloe Kitts, finished 13. Again, Joyce finishing with 18. Full Wiley had another great game. She almost shot 30%, 6 of 13 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. Gamecocks took a lot of threes. 41%, not exactly where you want to be at, but also pretty darn good, considering how they've been shooting the 3-ball recently. But again, Full Wiley was 17, Edwards with 18, and then followed by Chloe Kitts. Pow had a decent quarter. She started off really hot and then couldn't necessarily get things going, but for Kitts and Edwards to be able to do that, the two young guns in the program, to be able to do what you were doing on a weekend in a day where, it's certainly overshadowed by everything Asia Wilson has been able to accomplish. These two showed a lot of maturity, and, to be able to look back and say that, for Joyce and Chloe to offer some perspective as well, where, it's probably Joyce in her post game, and I'll bring up everything that they had to say about Asia here in a second. But Joyce Edwards was mentioning how cool it probably is for Asia Wilson to come back, having her jersey retired, and then see the two post players, the two young guns, if you will, on this team dominating. Right? I mean, shoot, the game. Shout out head tip down Cole here, but he pointed out, the game started off Sanaya Fagan with a mid-range jumper. Right? Asia Wilson's signature is the mid-range. So I'm going to cut to Chloe and Joyce talking post-game just about everything that they had experienced with Asia being here this weekend and also, being able to do what they did in front of her.
Pretty vocal last year about Asia being a role model, about conversations you had with her during your recruitment process. What was it like from your perspective, just kind of seeing her get celebrated today like that?
I was just happy for her, She's like the embodiment of who a lot of us want to be. She's been there, she's done that. She went through the same things that we're going through now. So just learning from her, asking her questions, just absorbing all of her wisdom, all of her knowledge. But I was definitely happy for her. And yeah.
Going back to Asia, this is for both of you guys. She's one of the greatest post players to ever play this game. Is there anything she does that you guys try and model your games after?
Her little fadeaway, one step. I'll be doing that. I know she does that. So, and then it's also nice to see that she's not just a post player. I mean, she shoots threes, she attacks, she passes the ball well. She's really an all around player, and that's kind of how we want to play one day. Because right now we're doing this, but I know when we switch to the league, then I don't know, we're gonna be able to do that, I guess.
Yeah, like Chloe said, her versatility, her dominance, her consistency. Those three main things is what causes her to be what she is now, and that is what we're trying to get to. So just like we said earlier, it's absorbing all her knowledge.
One more follow-up about Asia. Both of you obviously talking about how much you try to emulate her game, how much she means to you. Both of you played really well tonight. Just what was it like to do that in front of Asia when she's being honored and in the crowd?
I mean, I guess it was an honor, like you just said. We did that in front of her. I mean, she literally paved the way for us to be here. So I kind of feel like it was a little bit of a full circle moment for her, too, because she was watching, what she built, what she created. So just as much as, I'm honored to play in front of her, I feel like she was just honored to watch us play.
Yeah, no, I agree with what she said. You're good. Sure.
Joyce, you mentioned absorbing all the knowledge and wisdom from Asia. What is one of the biggest things mentality-wise that you can take away from her, not even necessarily on the court, but one thing that really resonated with you?
Just her consistency. She's consistent in everything she does. She just mentioned, like, I asked her about, like, how she works out. You know, the season's kind of short for a professional season. So, like, what does she do to work out? And everything she said is consistent. She's just consistent off the court, on the court, and she knows what her teammates expect of her. So she puts that on a consistent basis. So I feel like consistency, obviously, is a big thing.
Yeah, consistency. As we know, A'ja Wilson was the model of consistency when she was at South Carolina. Again, one of the most decorated athletes in school history. But again, we saw a lot of consistency out of Chloe and Joyce both alike against Auburn. I think obviously Joyce 8 for 11 from the field, really, really good. 0 turnovers for Joyce. 0 turnovers for Joyce Edwards. I'll say it one more time. 0 turnovers for Joyce Edwards. The freshman keeps coming along, right? During the beginning of the year, we were worried. It's like, oh my gosh, Joyce keeps turning the ball over. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Or what is South Carolina women's basketball going to do? You know, Joyce isn't as advertised. Relax. She's the true freshman's leading the team in scoring. She played the most minutes out of anybody against Auburn. Missed a free throw. Paul missed a free throw too, but you gotta take them when they're free. But again, 8 of 11 shooting, 8 finishes with 18 points, and also nabbed 5 rebounds of her own. Chloe Kitts was 1 rebound shy of a double-double. Again, another big game from Chloe. And Chloe's starting to show some of her leadership as well. Throughout that game against Auburn started to cut it back a little bit, and you saw Chloe, really step up and really, start to lead this team, right? And again, we talk about it on this show a lot. How Chloe is playing up. Right, she's playing up. She technically should be the sophomore right now, right? She enrolled early in January of her freshman year or of her senior year in high school. So for Chloe to be able to show this kind of leadership ability and due to what Raven Johnson's doing right now, and look at what Raven's doing. Raven is playing the senior point guard role. Raven, it doesn't have all of the flashy stats, even though she finished 3 of 4 shooting, hit a 3. 2 for 2 at the line, and 7 assists also for Raven. But Raven's been really coming into her own and not necessarily having the big stats that people expect the point guard of South Carolina to have per se. Raven comes in and she plays gritty basketball. She does. She plays gritty basketball. She's able to do the things that coaches in the WNBA are watching, for her to, do, like, no plays off, essentially, is what I'm getting at. No plays off. She's got the assist numbers. Chloe Kitts is being able to, or is able to find a role for herself and continue to, be a leader by doing some of the things that, are harder to do on a daily basis. It's not always going out and getting leading the team in scoring is what you need every night. So Chloe Kitts and again, Raven being obviously the senior leader on this team, showing her experience as well. But Chloe Kitts is starting to get it. And it's starting to pay off for this Gamecock women's basketball team. Again, cruising through Auburn on Sunday on A'ja Wilson's jersey retirement day. Again, I talked about A'ja Wilson and everything that she had to say, post game or pregame, with her jersey going up. So if you missed any of that, rewind to this show, go that way, and check all that out. Again, talked about her jersey retirement and everything Dawn had to say post game as well. Earlier on in the show, so go check that out. But again, looking ahead for South Carolina, about to pull up on a commercial break here before we close things out. But looking ahead for South Carolina, right? Going on the road to Georgia, which, again, on Thursday, I'll be happy to be making the trip out to Athens to make sure South Carolina, or to give, obviously, everyone at the Big Spur coverage of South Carolina and Georgia. And then South Carolina going on the road on Super Bowl Sunday to take on number 4 Texas. This is a team that you beat, at Colonial Life Arena by 17 earlier on in the season. I don't necessarily see why you can't do that against Texas. Now, as we've talked about it on the show before, ESPN had Texas favored to win this one. Now, again, it keeps shifting back, right? Keeps going towards South Carolina's way. And, Dawn has tickets to the Super Bowl. She is going. She told us, she made us aware following her media availability on Sunday. But so Dawn will be there. So, you best believe she is going to try her best to get a win. And then also, or at least one win on Sunday, right? Don't know how well her Eagles are going to fare up against the Chiefs. I don't necessarily want to watch it. I'm going to have to watch it because it is, the Super Bowl. You have to watch it. But again, it's one of those games where ESPN says it's a toss-up. I disagree. I think even as well as Texas has been playing recently, being able to beat A&M by 20, you're beating Missouri by 9, beating Ole Miss by 3. This is just one of those South Carolina women's basketball teams where and granted, yes, tough road test on Sunday, and yes, Dawn is going to leave them to go to the Super Bowl, but we'll see. I think this team is battle tested. They've had their rest, right? You got your rest last week when you didn't have a game on Thursday. Right. So I think that's huge. You were able to flex your muscles against Auburn. And granted, there was a lot going on Sunday, too, with Asia Wilson, getting her jersey retired as well. That's it, and Dawn mentioned it. Talk about, a little bit more about Auburn and just some things that they need to tune up and also get to Dawn's quote, too, here after the break. But, there's certainly some things that you can tune up. And Auburn, it wasn't perfect. You're competing with, Asia's jersey retirement, and I don't think you were going to lose that one per se, but it's very easy to get lost in everything that's going on a day like that, especially when it's 18,000 sold out fans ready to go, and so it's easy to lose or to get lost in a game like this. And again, the team's certainly going to tune it up. They've got Georgia again on Thursday. I will be there, in Athens covering that one. Again, Georgia doesn't really possess a whole lot. Not really going to bring, worst team in the SEC again. So should be an easy matchup for South Carolina. And again, ESPN giving them a 99% chance to win that one. And again, don't necessarily see South Carolina having a problem with the Dogs, but again, look ahead to Super Bowl Sunday with Texas 2:00 tip out there in Austin. Wish I was going to that one, but again, flights to Austin, man, are expensive. So not headed out to Auburn, but we'll have full coverage of that one. Or not headed out to Texas, so we'll have full coverage of that one on the Plano's PPG message boards. Be sure to tune into that. And then Florida at home, UConn at home, and Arkansas at home. A little 3-game homestand right in the middle of February right there. And UConn, obviously, bringing a ton of firepower in with Paige Becker's College Game Day, will be at South Carolina for that game. Game Day making their way back to Columbia. I think that's huge for the program. Going to be a whole lot of fun. Gina Wariema, Dawn Staley. Going to be a wild ride for sure. But yes, UConn, that's the game everyone's circling. Again, it's on ABC, 2:16. College Game Day will be here. It's going to be quite the atmosphere at Colonial Life Arena as I'm fully expecting. But again, I'm going to hit a quick commercial break real quick. And on the other side, I've got Dawn Staley talking about, just how the team played against Auburn. Even though Auburn is, a superior team, they didn't play their best basketball. So, excuse me. I'll have Dawn on the other side of this commercial break. We will be right back.
Welcome home. That's what the Gamecocks say, and so does nationally recognized the Barndominium Company, where they are building dream homes in the Carolinas, Georgia, and Tennessee. Their turnkey process can be custom designed and takes 6 months on average. Make your dream a reality. Visit thebarndominiumco.com. Thebarndominiumco.com.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Disaster comes uninformed. During and after natural disasters or accidents, there can be a heavy loss to property. it can become extremely difficult to bounce back to what you knew before. Having your home or office destroyed or damaged by water, fire, smoke, or mold affects your personal and business lifestyle. Resto Pros of the Midlands is here to help. Open 24/7. Call them when you need them. 803-493-0170. Resto Pros of the Midlands. RestoProsMidlandsSC.com.
What Right to Bear is we're an association of members across the entire country, and what we offer is we offer legal defense in the event of a self-defense case.
Nice.
So it's not insurance. So we offer an attorney in the event that one of our members might have some type of an accident. ProtectWithBear.com. We've got all of our social media accounts on the bottom of our website. We've got blogs, articles, detailed description of all of the coverages in depth, and we'd love to have you come check us out and ultimately get the protection you need.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out to all of our sponsors. There, the Barndominium Co. Always appreciate them sponsoring this week's episode of the Walkthrough. Quick little plug again before we wrap things up here. I want to plug obviously the Inside the Gamecock show. You can check that out weekdays. From I believe it is 9 or 10 a.m. On the Chief Sports Network YouTube channel. Again, be sure to watch that. And then the afternoon show, brand new afternoon show, the Inside the Gamecock show, now split into two. Go check out JC, Phil, JB, all of the guys that make this channel so great every day. Inside the Gamecock show, be sure to check them out. Okay, so as I mentioned before the commercial break, talk about Dawn Staley, or I have a clip from Dawn talking about just Auburn and things they need to work on going forward. And so, we'll look ahead, right? Again, after the commercial break, we said we were going to look ahead. So here's Dawn on everything that they need to fix from Auburn.
We just brought it to their attention. I mean, it's hard. I mean, this league is really hard when people do things really well. When we're getting people's best shot, they have energy, and they have energy for an extended period of time. I think for us, we needed to turn up our defense. I mean, that's one way of controlling how many offensive rebounds that you could get. You steal the ball, there's no shot. You don't have to worry about that. I thought we did a good job just pressuring and getting our hands on it and knocking the ball loose for, some easy buckets on the other end. So that's somewhat controlling it.
Yeah, leading with their defense is, arguably, it's the great, it's the great equalizer, if you will, for South Carolina, right? If you can win with your defense, there we go. There's the right. So yeah, like winning with your defense, forcing points in transition, right? Raven Johnson against Auburn had like 5, 6, 7 steals, 5 steals, something like that. I'm pulling up the box score right back up here again. But yeah, Raven Johnson was fantastic against Auburn. 6 steals for Raven Johnson, right? Led the team by far. Well, Wiley had 3 of them. Pretty darn good. But 6 steals for Raven, right? And we saw, look at the fast break points here. I wonder if ESPN has the stat. I don't have it necessarily up and ready to go, firing immediately, but you look at this, right? Fast break points. Really what got the job done for South Carolina in the last game against Auburn. I'll pull up the box score again. Excuse me. Pulling up the box score. Look at this difference in fast break points. Look at this difference. 26-9. South Carolina outscored Auburn on the fast break. It's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. And then you scored, off of turnovers, right? If you look at that too, Auburn, granted 23 turnovers, South Carolina 15, not bad, right? Not bad. None came from Joyce Edwards. Was a problem, not anymore. But again, it's the points off turnovers, 25 points off turnovers, 26 in the fast break. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And again, if they can keep doing that, starting with their defense, I think that's what they need to do going forward. What does the number 2, undefeated 56 game win streak, 57 game SEC win streak. Where does this team have to get better at? And I think it's capitalizing off the defensive end. It's running in transition, making the points count, and then also, Chloe Kitts, she's got to shoot the basketball. That was something that she was talking about a bunch, in her post game. Right, there was a point in Auburn where she got the ball at the middle of the key, and all she had to do was shoot. She did. But so Dawn was on her, Joyce was on her. And also shout out to Joyce too, because that takes some leadership there too, to be able to just be like, hey, you take that shot. You were wide open. I don't want the ball there. Take that shot. That's big leadership from a true freshman. A lot of people are probably going to say that Joyce Edwards, can't really lead. Is she leading, right? Can she be a leader on this team? Of course. Anybody can be a leader on this team. Joyce Edwards showing her leadership there with Chloe, right? When she was at the free throw, when Chloe was at the free throw line shooting, Joyce Edwards made sure to go over there, shoot the basketball. We need you to shoot it. That's big. That's a lot of leadership for it. So yeah, EXO again checking in a little late. EXO, you're in luck. You can always rewind. Go take the show that way. I've got everything from Asia Wilson's jersey retirement, and South Carolina's 83-66 win against Auburn on the women's side. Before I get out of here, I did also want to shout out Oscar Attaway. OA3 to be exact. Shout out OA2. It's my guy. But Oscar Attaway is South Carolina football's senior leadership council representative. So shout out to Oscar again. Making his teammates proud, representing the University of South Carolina well too. So again, Oscar, doing the leadership things, and again, I believe Oscar's older than me. So on his last legs of college football, you want the most experienced guy. Going there. And Oscar's one hell of a leader as well. I think, he's a presence that you need in the locker room. And it was good that he's able to come back to South Carolina. So, I think it's huge for the Attaways to be back in Columbia, and, hat tip to Oscar, even though it's the off season, we see what you're doing. Senior Leadership Advisory Committee, one Oscar Attaway. So yeah, that's big. And obviously, there are recruiting visits and all that stuff. Jared Curtis, 2026 number 1 overall quarterback in that class. His recruitment's heating up. Come and see the Gamecocks in June. We will have all of that coverage as well. But, so yeah, a lot of football news heating up, but stuck with women's basketball for the majority of today. Again, recapping Asia Wilson's jersey retirement, and then also what South Carolina had to do to get the job done against Auburn. And obviously got it done in thrilling fashion. So if you missed any of our show tonight, be sure to go back and check it out on the Chief Sports Network YouTube channel, or you can check it out in the Chief Sports Network app anytime, anywhere, any place. And also, as on the way out, be sure to check out the Inside the Gamecock show, broadcasting live every day. Be sure to check them out on the Inside the Gamecocks Twitter. There's a morning show, the afternoon show. Check out JC, JB, and Phil Mad Dog Mullinax every day, every weekday. So check them out on all of our socials and all of theirs as well. So appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. Pretty good stream tonight. And so I will see you guys again next week, getting ready for UConn. But appreciate everyone tuning in, and hope you guys have a great week.